before you come back, so you ship out. So you're 17 when you ship. So you obviously when you go, you're in school. You go in the summertime, right? Like so.
Yep.
Tell us how that was as a 17-year-old young man going into basic training after going to the art. How long did you go to the RFP before you went to? Would you say 6 months, or was it like a couple of months before? Or?
Yeah, I think it was right on 6 months actually. Because so I joined in December. First drill was January, and I think I went to basic on like June 4th or something like that.
Wow.
Um, so, but yeah, how was it going as a 17-year-old? Not great. It was not a good time. It was my first time. So I thought I'd be okay because I'd been away from home a few times, but I was always either with friends or family. This was the first time going somewhere where I like knew nobody. I had no contact with the outside world except for like handwritten mail. I'd never even written a letter before. Um, and I'm gonna be gone for 9 weeks and 4 days. I don't know. Is it still?
I think it's 10 weeks now,
Oh,
but
nice.
it's pretty
Yeah.
close. It's pretty similar still.
Sweet. They gave him that
not
extra.
not counting that first week that you get at freaking reception either.
Oh yeah, reception.
How
Ooh.
long were you at reception?
I was at reception for it. I mean, the days blended together. It was at least a week
Okay.
because they ran out of uniforms. I think we.
My gosh.
Yeah, I think we were coming close to 2 weeks before they were finally like, okay, we found some here, take them, go. And so nothing fit. Like it was kind of rough. But yeah, that was awful. Reception is the worst part by far.
Everyone will say this ever. Like, so reception is when you get up, you like get off the bus at like 1 a.m. You know, walk in. All the drill sergeants have you sign paperwork. You go through initial paperwork. You do another physical, and it's like you go to MEPS and you do like your hearing, your eyesight, and then you do all that again at MEPS. And then they issue your uniforms, your PT gear, your camel pack, and they're like, you will keep this camel pack full at all times. And you're just going and standing in lines. Like I said, you described it in your letters to us. It's like Disneyland, but there's no ride. You know, you're just standing in line.
That's very apt.
That's actually perfect.
So that's how it is. Like, you're just standing there in line and you're just getting your equipment and you're getting your stuff, and they take away your phone from you. And if you're lucky, like I was lucky, we got our phones at like Sunday or something. Like, we were there longer than we were supposed to be. Like, they were like, if we can get this done, we can get this group of kids out of here on like Thursday, and we can be basically have the weekend off because we don't have any more kids coming in. I was like, yes, please, like do that. But no, we didn't, and we were there from like literally a Sunday to a Sunday, and then I think we left to go to meet the drills on a Monday morning. God, it was terrible. And they had no air conditioning in those buildings. It's like 80 degrees, 90 degrees, even in the winter. Like, you're like, when you're like, it's cold outside, so you'll be happy to go sleep in a warm, like, no, it's just muggy, soggy, and it's just, reception is the worst. So you go to reception, you know that, so that's your first kind of culture shock. So reception just sucks. So you have a uniform that doesn't fit. You go to meet your drills. They load you up on the bus. They tell you to keep your head down and don't look. Okay, so give us a run through of your basic training as a 17-year-old young man going through that the first time.
So, like with the head down, I think I repressed that memory. Like, I forgot about that because they had us put like, how you have your laundry bag, your barracks bag. They had us like put our heads in the barracks bag and everything. So I was just like, man, I'm about to like this is sketchy. They're about to
They bagged you.
yeah like take me off somewhere, and I don't know what's gonna happen. But so I was still back when I went through. They were still doing Shark Attack, and I think with Ivy, he was talking. They had it back then too.
Yep.
So
Wait, what year did you go? Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Random question.
So June of 2015.
June 2015. Okay, cool. So you went June of 2015.
15 was it 2016?
No, Ivy was 2019.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So yeah, he was there. We had turned 25 when he was going. So he was out there being extra. He was being high speed. And we were just being civilian scum.
Hey, ain't no thing. Eventually, everybody joins.
But yeah,
whether
that's
you want to or not.
that whole load up process. I'll tell a real quick story from my perspective. So when we were finally getting ready to go, so I went to the exact same company that Chad was at, Bravo 439. So Chad went from September
I
to
went from
December.
September to December.
And Chad was like, asked his drill sergeant, "Is there a chance that my brother will be able to come to this exact platoon?" And his drill sergeant, "There's no way. Like, 'cause it'd be like a needle
It's
in a
a
haystack."
needle in a haystack. He goes, it's random. I go, they don't choose. It's literally like they just load them up. Here's your number. This is the area you're going to.
So as I'm standing in the line at the outside of the what do you call it when you're at reception and you're getting ready, we're leaving the barracks that we've been residentially staying at until we get ready to get on the buses. So we're loading all of our bags into the big O, what do they call those trucks? The
LTV.
the L.
Oh, they loaded up on an LMTV?
Yeah, so we load them up onto an LMTV, a big old truck with a so we got all of our duffel bags loaded up in, and there's some drill sergeants standing over to the side who drove the LMTV over there, but they are just staring right at me, like they're just giving me the look, and I'm looking over at them, and I was just like, they're just looking at everybody else, right?
Yeah.
Like he's not looking at me, but little did I know this was one of Chad's drill sergeants.
This was my
This was
senior
Drill Sergeant Ledbetter, who he was staring right at me the entire time. So I'm just sitting in line, like twiddling my thumbs, like I'm just waiting in line to get on this bus so I can go to the basic training thing. And he's just staring at me, like, and I was just like, this is not good. Like, I just kind of glanced over and I was like, yep, still staring right at me. But again, in my head, I'm like, it's not me. He's staring at all of us. He's trying to get a just. But when I get there, they all knew me. Like, I get off the bus, every single drill sergeant walked up to me at some point on the CTA and was like, "Is your twin brother go here?" And I was like, "Yes, drill sergeant." And he was like, "Oh my god!" Like, this is crazy. And they literally, like, they got the company first sergeant to come up here. He goes, "Look, here's one of the. You remember Watson from last cycle? Here's his twin brother." And then one of the drill Ledbetter, the one that was Chad Senior, he was like, "I don't think that's his twin. That's Chad. He got recycled. He's the day one recycle." So that's what he thought. So they just thought I was back, like some of them, but other ones were like, "Oh yeah, it's definitely his twin," because we have different vocal patterns and walking patterns and stuff. But yeah, it was a wild ride for us. So sorry about that tangent. But so you get off the bus. How is that whole process? Was it just a culture shock, or did the RSP prepare you pretty well for what you were going to be?
So a little bit of both. I actually ended up laughing during Charge Attack. Like, I thought it was funny because it was like a really hot day, and it's the first day of basic training, so they can't they do try to hold back.
It's just a yelling and loud noises portion of the shark attack. Essentially, it's just to throw you off guard.
Exactly, and like if it was a little bit nicer, they might make us do like a few more push-ups or something. But most of it, it's just like they'd have us come from the buses, go over there and fall in, and meanwhile they're taking all our bags off the buses and piling it up, and they're yelling at people, and they say, "Okay, go get your bags, hold it over your head," and you're running around with your bag over your head and that sort of thing. And it went on for a while, but it was like what they were trying to do is they basically try to line everybody up and talk smack on every single person individually, like get right in your face and just roast you for a little bit and then move on to the next guy. So it took a while. And I'm listening to some of the things these drill sergeants are saying, and I'm just like, then they get to me, and it's not funny anymore. But nah, but it was all kinds of crazy. Like, we fell in on a mass company formation, and we had like 7 ranks or something like that, and there was like 100 people in the first rank, and because it was just like, fall in. Do you guys even know what that means? Fall in. And it's just like all over the. I was just laughing the whole time. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's one thing. The RSP they teach you how to fall in. Like, the Guard does a great. That RSP program is really good. They teach you formations. They teach you how to march. They teach you all this stuff before you go. So even if you're not, which I wasn't, I wasn't perfect at it, but they do a darn good job of making sure you get some of the movements and turns down, and it's very useful stuff. So it's good to know that, like, it wasn't like a culture shock to you, but like I said, it is a culture shock. The minute you get off that bus and somebody's yelling at your face, like, it does. But like, if you're like us, I find all this stuff quite funny. Like, so I laugh, I smile, and I just get told all the time, even here in the OCS environment, man. Phase 1. they'd be yelling at us to come outside after we'd be coming out of the classroom. And I mean, there were black hat captains just looking at me going, Watson, wipe that smile off your face. I'm like, I can't help it. I'm just having so much fun.
I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, because it's so, like, especially as you're an older person, like, this is just, because you're just like, it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, you're just
Yeah.
like, this whole thing is a joke. But you understand it because it's getting you ready for the intense environment and it's the shell shock of the moment kind of stuff. But of your basic training experience, what's probably the best story you have? Like, or it doesn't have to be best. Like, well, best story, most
Worst
memorable story,
story.
funniest thing that happened. Like, what do you
Oh,
got? What
goodness.
happened to you at basic training?
I mean, there were a bunch of like, so there wasn't anything all that big that happened. I did have one at the end. There's a bunch I could pick for this, but like just a bunch of like kind of decent stories. But one of them, it was the last day of basic training. It's like 6 in the morning, and they've been messing with us, all week, all the past 2 weeks, because you're done basically, but they want those barracks to be spotless, and they want to make sure you get no sleep, just as one last, mess with you type of thing.
I remember that.
Yeah. So I am exhausted, and I had followed the philosophy through basic training, like you don't want to be first, you don't want to be last, blend in, don't volunteer for anything. Um,
That's what my uncle told me.
yeah, yeah, and it's good advice, but it's the last day. I'm graduating in 4 hours, and so I was like, I'll take the plunge. If they have something for us to volunteer for, I'll do it. And sure enough, our drill sergeant comes out and he's like, "Hey, I need one person." So I go over there, and he's like, "Hey, I need you to organize all our files, like all the files of all the recruits." And he says, "I need you to organize them in this way." And immediately, like I fell asleep with my eyes open, I guess, because like I didn't hear a word he said. And he just hands me the crate and he's like, "Get to it." And I'm like, I just put them in an order that makes sense to me. I was like, well, I already know this is gonna go terrible, so I may as well just,
Mm-hmm.
And after I'm done, he's like, "All right, thanks." I was like, "Thanks, dang, maybe I should have taken that more seriously." And and I go outside and I fall back in, and we're all waiting around. We're in our class B's and all that, and we're just waiting to get loaded up on the bus or whatever it was that took us out to the parade field. And Drill Sergeant Dow comes like just like storming out of that door. And he's pissed, man. He's like, he says, "All right, first of all, everybody half right face." I was like, "Ooh, everybody."
Were you guys in your dress uniforms? Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
He dropped all of us. And he's like, "Let me get one more. Who isn't retarded?"
God, I love the old army.
Uh,
I was just like, I'm in the back of the formation. I'm like looking around, and like nobody realized that I went off to volunteer, and I'm like, oh, nobody knows it was me that's retarded. But there were a few other stories, but that one kind of stuck with me because it was just like, that is you. Like,
My gosh,
It was-
that is awesome.
that was a good time.
Yeah, you live at the mercy of the drill sergeants when you're at basic, and you'd be surprised. But I would say I volunteered for stuff a little bit more than I thought I would when I was there. But like I said, I just wasn't afraid of the reprisals or doing stuff like, you got to go and hang out with the drill sergeants kind of in an unscripted area, and they would kind of like, they'll talk to you and give you some actual decent advice when you're with them, and then they'll basically leave you alone for a while. And now there was one time we went out and we had a new drill sergeant get transferred in. Man, he messed with us the whole time we were out there, like doing ammo detail. Like I was like, because the first 2 times I went, I was like, this is great. Like our week of ammo detail is going to be awesome because we're just stack ammo boxes. We all know what we're doing. And then like literally they had that one transfer drill sergeant coming in. He was like, "Why are you guys smoking and joking over here? I'll drop all of you right now." And we're just like looking at each other like, drill sergeant, we've never been, this is how we've been the whole time we've been doing weapons detail this week. And he's like, not when I'm around. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this blows now. Like now it's
Yeah.
not fun. So it's so different how, like I said, you just get one new person come in and it changed the dynamic of absolutely everything. Because you'd get these transfer in or these like reserve drill sergeants who come in for like training, and they would it would just kill the vibe. Like you'd be like, our drill sergeants, like we know what their temperament is, we know what we can do, we know what we can get away with, and like these new ones come in, it's like going, and especially the you have a harder time with like a lot of the part-time ones or a lot of the National Guard ones that come in for regional training, like because this is their moment because they don't get to do it all the time. So it's like, it's with you all the time. And you're just like, dude, our drill sergeants, that like the regulars don't bother us this much. Why are you bothering me?
Yeah.
So it's pretty wild. Now, so actually, where'd you go? Where were you at for training? Did you go Fort Jackson?
Yeah, I was Fort Jackson.
Okay.
Delta 213th.
Delta 213. That's probably, I think, the same one Ivy was at. So that's pretty cool. So Fort Jackson, you were relaxing at Jackson, and you had the graduation on the same field, Hilton Field, same field that we all graduate on. So that's cool.